What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing good today. Every summer, the NBA draft takes place, and each year teams are searching for the next great player, that one guy that will change the fortunes of the franchise. The best prospects are usually taken in the lottery, the first 14 picks. And if you're the lucky team who has the first pick, you just struck gold. That's why each year so many teams tank to give themselves a better chance at landing the coveted number one pick. Owning the first pick in the draft is a very hot commodity, which will usually translate to a great player who can take the team to the next level. With that being said, every year there are hidden gems, players who aren't on the radar, players we've never heard of that will go on to become Hall of Famers. In this video, I'll discuss about some of the best second round picks since the year 2000. Michael Redd, drafted 43rd overall by the Milwaukee Bucks in 2000. Redd is a silky smooth operator. The lefty had one of the purest shots ever, underrated throughout his entire career. Never made any headlines and only one All-Star appearance. For a stretch in the late 2000s, Redd was always near the top of the leaderboard in scoring. From 2004 to 2009, Redd consistently averaged over 20 points per game and went toe-to-toe with some of the game's best wing players. Many fans won't believe this, but Michael Redd holds the Bucks record for most points scored in a single game with 57. And Kobe fans, you may want to mute this part, but he did drop 45 on Kobe in 2006. Even the Black Mamba couldn't slow him down. Redd once made 8 3-pointers in a quarter, which was a record then. He held the record until 2015 when Klay Thompson went bananas and scored 37 points in a quarter, including 9 3-pointers. With the pace and style of play today, can you imagine what Redd would do on the offensive end? Redd was truly ahead of his time and would be the perfect fit in today's game. He was a go-to guy and lone bright spot for Milwaukee throughout those years. If only he had more help during his tenure. Imagine if Redd was playing today with Giannis. Man, Redd would be wide open. I could see him drooling, just waiting for those kickouts. He was also part of the redeem team that captured the gold medal in the 2008 Olympics. Overall, he averaged 20 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.3 assists per game during his time in Milwaukee. Gilbert Arenas, selected 31st overall by Golden State in 2001. Agent Zero was one of the best players in the mid-2000s. After a couple of promising years in the Bay Area, Arenas left the Warriors to join the Washington Wizards, where he quickly blossomed into a superstar. In a 3-year stretch from 2005 to 2007, Arenas was in the conversation of the best player in the league. Gil was electrifying and would torture any defender. On a nightly basis, he was lighting up opposing teams, breaking ankles and hitting game winners. They didn't call him the hibachi for no reason. His scoring ability was truly amazing. Close your eyes and picture their highlights as I yell out these names: Kobe, LeBron, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. These are the only players since 2000 to have multiple 50-point games in a single season. You can add Agent Zero to that list. Gil is the only one who won't be in the Hall of Fame. That's how incredible this dude is at scoring. His best year was in 2006 when he averaged 29.3 and 6.1 assists per game. Who could ever forget the night he walked into Staples Center and dropped 60 on Kobe, or his epic playoff duels against LeBron James? Today we marvel at so many players for pulling up from 35 feet. Well, Arenas was doing that with ease in his prime and had a rare combination of size and quickness to blow by any defenders. He was the man in Washington and made 3 consecutive All-Star appearances and All-NBA team selection 3 times as well. He was only 25 years old after the 2007 season and was only getting better, but sadly a devastating knee injury ruined his career. It was a freak accident where Jerry Wallace drove in for a layup, lost his balance, and on the way down he collided into Gilbert Arenas' knee. This freak accident would change his career forever, and unfortunately cut short a Hall of Fame career. He never returned to his old form. With a combination of injuries and locker room gun incidents, Arenas only played in a grand total of 134 games his last 5 years. That's roughly an average of 26 games per year. It's pretty sad how quickly things can turn, and his career was over at age 30. Monta Ellis, drafted 40th overall by Golden State in 2005. Ellis was the undersized guard that came straight into the NBA from high school, but what he lacked in size he sure made up for it with heart and skills. Before the Splash Brothers took over the Warriors, Ellis was the man. He was a fan favorite and was such an explosive scorer. He was part of the 8th seeded We Believe Warriors team that upset the number 1 seed Dallas Mavericks in the 2007 playoff. In 4 separate seasons, he averaged over 20 points per game. His best year was in 2010 when he averaged a career high in points with 25, along with 4 rebounds and 5.3 assists, but yet never made an All-Star. Ellis is one of the best little men in the league, and I sure miss watching him play. Paul Millsap, drafted 47 overall by Utah in 2006. For many years, Millsap was a solid power forward with the Utah Jazz and Atlanta Hawks. His game is not flashy. Not a single Paul Millsap highlight comes to mind when I think about him. Just reliable. For over a decade, you can count on Millsap giving you 15 to 17 points and 8 to 9 boards every night. He kept the Jazz afloat after the departure of Carlos Boozer, Darren Williams, and legendary coach Jerry Sloan. In Atlanta, he was part of a Hawks team that won 60 games without a superstar and became a 4-time All-Star. Overall, Millsap had a very stellar career, definitely more productive than most of his 2006 draft classmates. Marc Gasol, drafted 48th overall in 2007. When the Lakers traded for Pau Gasol, many people around the league baffled at the inequality of the deal at the time. But in the years since the trade, it actually turned out to be a really good deal for both sides. Pau would go on to win 2 rings in LA, while younger brother Marc became a vital piece of the club and a household name in Memphis. Marc, along with Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, and Tony Allen, were part of the grit and grind era in Memphis, where each and every year they were consistently in the playoff. For sure, not a lot of teams were looking forward to playing Memphis in the playoff due to their toughness and grit. His numbers with the Grizzlies were not eye-popping, only averaging 15.2 points, 7.7 rebounds, 3.4 assists, and 1.5 blocks per game. But his contributions to winning are: he was the heart and soul of their team, the defensive anchor in the paint. So good defensive that he even took home the Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. Like Monta Ellis, Marc Gasol was part of the 8-seeded Grizzlies team that upset San Antonio in the playoff in 2011. The Spurs are always a threat to win it all, but not in 2011, when Memphis came out of nowhere and took them down. Gasol was always a crafty and smart player, and he was part of the 2019 Toronto Raptors that won the championship. Overall, he was a 3-time All-Star and 2-time All-NBA player. Isaiah Thomas, drafted 60th overall in 2011 by Sacramento. I recently made a video about the tragic ending of Isaiah's career. You can watch that video here by clicking on the link in the corner. Personally, Isaiah was one of my favorite players because he was severely undersized but so good he was able to hang with the big boys. He was the last pick in 2011. 59 players went ahead of him, and I can tell you only a handful of players are better than him in his draft class. Isaiah was only 5'9", but he had the heart of a 7-footer. In Boston, he was the engine that carried the team. He was so spectacular for the Celtics in 2017, putting up 28.9 points and 5.9 assists on a nightly basis, and took his team all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. He was unguardable during his prime and can score from anywhere. I think we all heard about his tragic story before. A misdiagnosis by the Celtics medical staff would change his life forever. He literally left it all on the court. He played until his hip gave out. Sadly, today Isaiah is no longer in the NBA, all because of this misdiagnosis. What's also unfortunate is he never got paid like a franchise player. At his apex, he was one of the best point guards. Draymond Green, drafted 35th overall in 2012 by Golden State. Many times during Warriors games, announcers will bring up this story. Draymond Green was so upset about being the 35th pick that he can name all the players who were selected before him. He used this as fuel and became one of the best players today. Green is a key member of the Warriors dynasty and their defensive anchor. He is the ultimate glue guy and every team needs a Draymond Green. Once the Warriors discovered the Curry and Green pick and roll, the league was in trouble. This has become an unstoppable play. Opponents are literally at their mercy. If you look at his stats, he looks like a below average player. Nothing jumps out, but when you sit and watch a Warriors game, you see why he's such an important piece of their team. Aside from all the defensive contributions, he is their secondary playmaker after the pick and roll with Curry. He finds open shooters and is a phenomenal screen setter. He does all the dirty work and things that don't show on the box score. His intensity and energy is contagious. Green's IQ and basketball intelligence is off the charts. Without Draymond Green, there's no way Golden State has 3 chips. Khris Middleton, drafted 39th overall in 2012 by the Pistons. Perhaps the greatest story of all the players in this video. After being drafted by Detroit, Middleton was stuck on the bench. He did not get a lot of love from the Pistons coaching staff. Khris even spent some time in the D-League, which is now called the G-League. His rookie season was pretty spotty, only appearing in 27 games with limited minutes. Needless to say, it was a tough rookie season. After 1 year in the Motor City, Khris Middleton was a throw-in to make the salaries work in the trade center around Brendan Jennings and Brendan Knight. At the time, no one knew who Khris Middleton was, but he would turn out to be by far and away the best player in this deal, and Milwaukee won this trade in a landslide, catapulting their rebuild. Coming to the Bucks was the best thing that's ever happened to his career. Milwaukee was a fresh start, and he was paired with a guy by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You guys might have heard of him before, and a chance to grow together with Milwaukee's young core. In Milwaukee, Middleton blossomed into a starter, all-star, and eventually a champion. Nikola Jokic, drafted 41st overall in 2014 by Denver. Although he was drafted in 2014, the Joker didn't come play in the US until the following season, and it was worth the wait. His impact was felt immediately as he posted solid numbers across the board and was selected to the all-rookie first team. Since then, he's led the Nuggets back to the playoff for the first time since the Ty Lawson days. He's come a long way since his rookie year. So far in his young career, he's already accomplished a lot and is universally recognized as one of the top players in today's game. His combination of size and skills are unparalleled, and only a few players possesses the traits that the Joker does. He has a street stroke which extends beyond the arc. In the paint, he's too strong and tough for any defender to deal with. Not to mention, he is one of the best passing big men ever. Only 26 years old as of this recording, and he's already a 3-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA player, and currently the reigning MVP. Paired with his running mate Jamal Murray, the Nuggets are progressing each year. If they can all remain healthy and add in a piece or two, there's a good chance that Jokic can finally bring home Denver's first ever NBA championship. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. As you can see, not all great players are drafted in the lottery. All-stars, in the case of Nikola Jokic, your all-time greats can be found later in the draft. It takes a little bit of luck and a lot of hard work to find a needle in the haystack. Let me know if I missed any player in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a fantastic day. Peace.